Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. For anyone that's new here, my name's OwenAlec, and on this channel I do everything drum related. That includes drum covers, tutorials, gear reviews, tips and advice, just like this video. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, please do consider subscribing, hit the like button, all that good stuff, because it really helps the channel. Thank you very much. So today in this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 ways to get free gear. Also, be sure to stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to be giving you a 6th bonus tip that's a little bit different. So before we jump in, there is one caveat that I really want to kind of address. We're not going to talk about endorsements because unfortunately you've got to be a household name to get free stuff from a company. Most of the time, certainly with me and my endorsements and almost everybody, even people that are doing like world tours and stuff, they still have to pay for their gear a lot of the time. They might get heavy discounts, but they still have to pay. So for anybody out there that's thinking that you can get an endorsement and get free gear, please change your frame of mind. That's not how this works. That's not how the industry works. So if you went up to a company and said, I want free gear, what can you do for me? You know, I play in front of 50 people once a month or something, then they're just going to laugh you out the door. So please don't start doing that. If you actually want to get an endorsement with a company, I'll do another video on this, but essentially you need to build a relationship with that company. So let's jump right in. And the first one we've got is Facebook Marketplace, or in America, you call it Craigslist, I think. Essentially, this is just a group of people that have got free stuff that they want to give away or they want to sell. And in fact, Facebook Marketplace has a free stuff tab that you can click on and you can search through all the type of stuff that they've got on there and pick out what you like, and then from there contact the seller. Of course, this comes with its problems. A lot of the time when people are giving stuff away, it's more than likely going to be relatively bad quality or in bad condition. So please be aware that sometimes you're not going to get really good stuff out of there. Sometimes you can find a bargain, but it's not always going to be necessarily the case. Of course, there are people on there that are selling things at discounted prices because even though it's decent quality, they just don't have enough room in the house for it. So they're just trying to get shot of it, in which case you can find yourself a really good bargain there. When it comes to things like Facebook Marketplace, I would highly recommend talking to somebody that maybe has a little bit more knowledge than you do about these certain things. It might be that they see something in like a cymbal that maybe got a crack in it that you missed. So if you were to buy a cracked cymbal, it's not going to last very long. If you get it for free, then obviously you can use it as practice, so it's not the end of the world. Also, please be aware of scams when it comes to Facebook Marketplace. I've seen this firsthand. I've had people message me when I've been trying to sell stuff, and they're clearly scammers. They're just trying to get free stuff. And then also when I've been buying something, someone's been trying to pull the wool over my eyes and sell me something that is not what is advertised. Even stuff that's free, they're trying to get rid of stuff that's, again, not what is advertised. So you go down there in the hopes of getting something that looks pretty decent, and it turns out that it's just a piece of junk. For number 2, we're going to go with something that's very similar to number 1. This is called Gumtree. In the UK, it's quite a popular platform. There's a lot of people who've been using that for a very long time, and another great place where you can get some really nice bargains. Same things apply. You've got to be safe. Make sure that you're looking out for scammers. Another thing that I've seen on Gumtree is when you're looking to get something off somebody either for free or you're buying, that they'll want to drop it off at your house. Again, this is a really sneaky little trick that these people do, but yes, please be careful of that because then they've got access to your house. So either meet in a neutral place or go to their place. Number 3 is a really cool one because even though you're not going to be actually spending any of your own money, you can still get some really good quality stuff. This is trading for services. So what this means is that if you see a product from a company that you really like, most of the time it's going to be an independent company, but if you approach that company and said, look, I have a skill in such an area, I can offer you this in return for, you know, a snare or some stands or an actual full drum kit, depending on what the service is. So there's a friend of mine who's a videographer. He approached a company and said, I will shoot you a full promotional video that normally costs in the region of like £1,000, even if not sometimes even more. And in return, he then got an actual drum kit out of it. This isn't always going to be the case. Not everybody is, you know, so lucky as to be able to do that, but they saw his work and they realized the value that they can get out of that. Of course, then by trading services for goods, my friend was able to actually get something that was really good quality and not have to pay out any money for it. The company itself is also going to be very happy because they're getting a promotional video that they can use for years to come, but then they don't have to pay out of their own pocket for that service. This is a win-win situation. It works really well. You just have to pitch it to the company properly to make sure that they're going to get their value out of it. You are going to come across some companies that don't want to do it like that. It might be that you can strike up a different deal where you get, you know, half off or 60% or whatever it might be. But coming up with a plan and actually approaching these companies and saying, this is what I can offer you, and really script out the value that you're going to be able to give this company and the value that they're going to get out of it. And then in return, you can say what you want. and then they can weigh it up themselves and kind of go, okay, normally this would cost us £1,000. This kit to us, actually, as the goods itself and just in terms of materials and time and labour, this only costs us £500. So therefore, we're going to actually come out of this deal really, really good. A lot of the time it is the case of if you don't ask, you don't get. Therefore, it's worth just approaching these companies, asking, put your pitch forward and seeing what kind of deal you can strike. Number 4 is a little bit of a controversial one just because you either have to be extremely cheeky or you have to wait until someone is no longer in use of it, let's put it that way. This is inheriting a piece of equipment. It might be that a family member of yours used to play years ago and they kind of hung it up, and you could approach them and say, look, if you're no longer using that, I can get some value out of it, I could start to train, I could start to practice, and it might be a way of them passing on their legacy. Of course, the alternative of that is that someone passes away, that item is there doing nothing, you can either sell it and then either get some more gear, or you can use that gear yourself. I've had so many conversations with people over the years, musicians from all different types of backgrounds, and they've said various different things. It could be that they've had a family member that's used to play and is retired, they're no longer physically able to play because they've just grown old. They want to pass on something to the younger generation that continues the path that they were on, and it really feels like you're passing the baton on to the younger generation and to either your family members or to a family friend. Alternatively, they have had a family member pass away, unfortunately, and it's a good way of that person remembering them. Being able to play the same gear that they played with for donkey's years is a really great way of honouring their memory and keeping their spirit and their love of music alive. Number 5 is accepting donations or word of mouth. So essentially what this means is that if you were, for instance, a brand new player and you're kind of testing the waters, you don't really want to go out and buy a full drum kit because that's obviously a lot of money to outlay. But it might be that a family friend of yours has got a relative that used to play and that you can take it from them. Or you can just borrow it off somebody for a short time until you get to a point where you think, actually, yeah, this is something that I'm really interested in. And then you can go back through one of the other steps that we've talked about and find yourself a drum kit of your own. The reason why this tip is also so good is because you might find multiple people that are looking to donate to you. So it might be that you get a drum kit from one person, you might get some decent hardware from another person and some cymbals from someone else. Of course, if you were to use that equipment for say 6 months or something and then you really decided that you wanted to upgrade, I would highly recommend offering that gear back to the people that you got it from first. If they say, no, keep it, or you can sell it and then put it towards something else, that's fantastic, but please offer it back first. It's just good manners, and I'm sure that they will appreciate that gesture. Now, as promised, the bonus tip, number 6, is a bit of a strange one, granted, but I'll give you a story as to why this works. This is going to your local tip, your garbage disposal place, your refuge centre, however you want to call it, and seeing what people have thrown away. Of course, you'll have to have their permission. A lot of time it may be private land, so you'll have to talk to the people that work there and see if it's actually something that you're allowed to do. But essentially, people throw away stuff all the time. Drum kits that have either been a bit battered and broken, you might be able to repair them. But essentially, I remember one time I went to the tip with my dad. We were throwing away some pallets, I think, or something, and there was a guy there throwing away a bass guitar. And we stopped him and we said, oh, why are you throwing it away? What's wrong with it? And he said, oh, I just haven't got room for it anymore. I don't know where to get it restrung. And I think there was some electrics broken or something. So we took it off him. We just sort of said, look, if you're throwing it away, I'll be happy to take it for you. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. So he gave us that. I took it back to my shop. I repaired it. I got it cleaned up. I restrung it. And yeah, we were able to sell it and actually I think we sold it for like 50 quid or something. So this went from somebody's junk that we were going to throw away to me getting it, repairing it, spending a bit of money on it, getting it back up to scratch again, and then selling it on. So you've given this bass guitar a new lease of life, and somebody out there has a bass guitar now that otherwise they wouldn't have had. This is also a great way of raising funds to then buy something that you might need. But again, I reiterate, I really must stress this, please check your local laws or your local refuse centres policies, because it might be that they don't allow that kind of thing. So please keep yourself safe and keep yourself away from any legal issues. But that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have got something out of it. If you have, please let me know in the comment sections below. Thank you once again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.